Good morning! Welcome to your program, Your Agenda. Pasensya na, sumasabit ng konti, medyo nalolobat because it's a Friday. And as usual, we all look forward to the weekend to recharge, to rest, but it's still a working day. And this is still your program, Your Agenda that we will be tackling. And today, the two topics we will be tackling, well, first is about energy, about power, about electricity. We just want to give the Department of Energy the right platform or the opportunity to inform, to educate all of us what the situation is going to be as far as power, electricity is concerned because of all the concerns or fears of summer, El Nino, etc., and five power generators conking out in Luzon. Okay, well, that was more temporary. So we'll find out, we'll get a better, clearer, and more accurate information from our guests later. Then after that, we will also be speaking with another regular here on Agenda. He is he's a friend of the program, a personal friend who often talks about investments, finance, etc. We'll discuss that. So, but first of all, allow me to express our gratitude so we can all promote having an attitude of gratitude. Maraming salamat po for all of you who are subscribers of Cignal. Thank you to all our guests. Thank you to those who have guested in the past. And of course, thank you to those of you who watch us via Cignal TV, channels 8 and 250 here on One News. Also, thank you for those who watch us via Facebook and Cignal Play app as well as YouTube. Okay. Let's okay, and oh, by the way, hello, good morning to our friends at PLDT for their home fiber optic internet. And let's now go to our daily starter for today. I will just say CTTO. Credits to the owner because I forgot to include the author of this, but it's from Facebook, and it goes, I never knew how strong I was until I had to forgive someone who wasn't sorry and accept an apology I never received. Okay? We all go through life, we grow up believing, thinking, thought, or even that you don't forgive unless someone asks for forgiveness. You don't forgive unless someone shows repentance. You don't forgive unless someone is willing to make up for the injury. But as you get older, especially if you walk with the Lord, where you believe in the teachings of God, you will eventually realize that there is no point for waiting. There is no point to waiting for someone to make the first step. Sabi nga nila, yung sama ng loob is like trying to poison your enemy by drinking the poison yourself. Okay, so just forgive them. You know, it's like, what did Jesus Christ say? Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. Okay, and if you really think about it, people often don't know what they're doing. They don't know the hurt, the pain, the injury they've caused others. And so they're mindless, thoughtless, unaware of the injury. So we have to forgive them for our benefit. Let them go, release it. Don't make them or drag them like an anchor, a chain that you carry all through your life. Forgive them and move on. So yan po, no? And go through life as if they had apologized, and you will be healthier for it. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star for a quick review. And the headline of the Philippine Star today, May 12, 2023, Friday, and it goes, universities, colleges seeking tuition hike. Ayan po, patay na. Dito lang sa Pilipinas, taon-taon tumataas ang matrikula or almost annually. But when you ask people why, do our salaries go up every year? And it is about time that this issue is addressed. Okay, so universities, colleges seeking tuition hike. Okay, and ito pang masakit. State universities and colleges and local universities and colleges are seeking an increase in tuition and miscellaneous fees after the 5-year moratorium lapsed last year, which signals a big storm coming, according to the chief of the Commission on Higher Education. Nako po, masama na nga yung inflation, tataas pa ang matrikula, etc. Away na yan. And at the top of the front page, the header, Philippine economy grows at a slower pace in the first quarter compared to past year, and that again is going to signal that again is a bad sign. Meanwhile, Speaker of the House of Representatives Martin Romualdez warned suspended Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. yesterday that his stern refusal to return from overseas and report to work may force their hand in the House of Representatives to expel him. Ayan na po. Okay. The guy is facing possible charges of terrorism, multiple murder, illegal possession of weapons, etc. I'm sure he's not going to come back because he will land in jail unbailable. Okay? Anyway, COMELEC, 400,000 double registrants for barangay polls. The Commission on Election has so far uncovered more than 400,000 double or multiple registered voters for the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. And that does not include ghost voters, okay, and equipment manipulation. Okay. Another bad news. Kuwait suspends entry and work visas for Pinoys. Okay. Apparently, nagkagusot. There is a misunderstanding between Kuwaiti officials and the Philippine government. And in response, Kuwait has decided wala munang visa, wala munang trabaho para sa mga Pinoy, wala munang mga turistang Pinoy in Kuwait. Center photo of the Philippine Star, leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and their spouses on the deck of a traditional Pinsi ship during a sunset viewing event on the sidelines of the 42nd ASEAN Summit. Kumbaga, after all the work and shouting and arguing and negotiating, medyo sunset cruise naman sila. BBM to ASEAN, abide by UNCLOS as Ocean's Constitution. President Marcos has called on Southeast Asian nations to abide by United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, and ensure that the South China Sea does not become a nexus for armed conflict, which is very important, okay? Because if we don't get our heads together, we might be shooting at each other, okay? Eric Sean Cray of the Philippines crossed the finish line to successfully defend the men's 400-meter crown and win the gold in the 32nd Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia. Okay, Cray won his 6th straight gold medal in the men's 400-meter hurdles of the regional games. Okay. Meanwhile, Meralco increases electricity rates in May. Electricity rates in the area serviced by the Manila Electric Company, Meralco, are up this month and possibly even next month as higher temperatures have pushed demand for electricity. Following a reduction last month, Meralco said the electricity rate this month rose to 11 pesos and 49.29 centavos per kilowatt hour from the previous months of 11.31. Maliit lang. Kakayanin niya, magtipid lang po tayo. Okay. Meanwhile, wala. Ano bang klaseng front page to? puro malungkot ang balita. Onion prices more than double in a year, according to the government or the department that does nothing but monitor. Ito po, retail prices of onions more than doubled yesterday to 200 pesos a kilo compared to their prices a year ago. Data from the Department of Agriculture showed. Yan na po. That is now the preeminent task or function of the Department of Agriculture, monitor prices and shortages and forecast importation. Ewan ko, may ginagawa pa ba kayo directly related to agriculture productivity? Meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte eyes mandatory scouting in curriculum. Pinag-aaralan. Vice President and DepEd Secretary Sara Duterte is studying the feasibility of integrating Boy Scout or scouting, okay? May Cub Scout, may Boy Scout in the curriculum of lower grades. Nothing wrong with that. That's where I learned about camping, about honor, about merit, etc. And finally, okay, celebrate a safari-themed Mother's Day only at Robinsons Manila. Ayan, medyo pakana. Yan ang gimmick ng Robinsons Manila. They have a safari theme there. Okay, so please, today, tomorrow, and Sunday, we are celebrating Mother's Day, Mother's Weekend. Nako po, yung mga kaibigan ko, katropa kong mga husbandry, don't forget, put triple alarms on your phone because if not, you may be alarmed by the silence and the anger in your house if you forget the Mother's Day. Okay, let's go to our first guest this morning, who I'm sure is looking forward to Mother's Day. Let's introduce our guest, Gabriel. Roll out the Betamax.
Engineer Rowena Guevara currently serves as Energy Undersecretary. She is also the President and CEO of the state-run National Transmission Corporation. Prior to this, Guevara was an Undersecretary at the Department of Science and Technology.
Yusek Guevara, good morning, ma'am.
Magandang umaga, Cito. Very good to see you again.
I thank you very much for joining us today, and I'm glad that you were able to make time. How has life been for you? What have you been up to? Aside from being in the DOE, of course, may iba ka rin bang pinagkakaabalahan to have a work-life balance, as they say?
Araw-araw nagpapiano ako.
Oh, kainggit ka naman. Nakakainggit ka. Alam mo, ako sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna make this personal. I underwent piano lessons. Unfortunately, my osteoarthritis got in front of me. Ayan, wala na. Baluktot daliri. Tigil ang piano. But anyway, I'm happy for you, Yusek Wena, because That is a gift. That is a gift of the Lord, and I'm glad you get to do it. Okay. So, of course, in all seriousness, we asked you to join us because we're worried about what's happening with the electricity supply, predictability of life and business. What's our situation, Yusek?
Cito, alam mo, for the entire month of May, at saka first 3 weeks of June, we have potential yellow alerts every week. Ibig sabihin nun, the margin between supply and demand is not enough for our reserves.
Mhm.
But just right enough, ano? So if any of the generators count down suddenly and cannot deliver power, then we might have a red alert.
Okay, so I think that is a current constant because we've never really. I don't think we've actually managed to put up new power plants, right?
Actually, baligtad, no? We lost a big power plant in July 2022 with the Ilihan,
Aha.
1,200 megawatts. It
Okay.
stopped working, no? So
Mhm.
that 1,200 megawatts is 10% of Luzon's supply.
Wow. Okay.
That would have been sufficient as our reserve, but since July it stopped operating. But we are hopeful that by May 26, it will operate again using LNG.
I see. Okay, so that's good news, 10%. Wow, 10% is a lot. That's a big supply. And yes, I read about it that the Ilihan plant is going to go back online, and bravo DOE. Now, what about new plants, USEC? Because that is what many of the businessmen are saying. Dapat madagdagan, madouble yung number of power plants, not only to meet the current need, but in order for our economy to get a boost and for investors to feel more confident. What's the reality, Yusek?
The reality, Cito, is that we have lined up several power plants that are supposed to go online. But some of them have experienced delays. No? For example, there were some coal plants that were supposed to go online last March 31, but were not able to do so due to technical difficulties in the plant. Then there's also some renewable energy sources that were delayed because they had difficulty getting permits from the local government unit and other national government agencies. But we have been monitoring their progress, and this year we will have about 1,000 megawatts of renewable energy coming online.
Okay, so, but when you say renewable energy, are we talking about wind and solar? Because alam ko that the DOE and I think the DOST, where you originally came from, I don't know if DOST is involved. You guys are hosting or part of a renewable energy summit. Was it May 15 next week ba yun?
Next week there is an future energy seminar or conference, but that's not. We are involved there, but more importantly, we have the commitment of our renewable energy developers or RE developers.
Okay.
Here's the other thing, Cito. We have a very ambitious target of 35% renewable energy by 2030. We are currently at 22%. Last year, the Philippines had a green energy auction of 2,000 megawatts. And these are going to be delivered in 2025. Realizing the need to be more aggressive, this year our green energy auction is 11,600. Wherein 3,600 will be delivered next year.
Okay.
So we see that there is appetite from our RE developers to do just that, deliver 3,600 megawatts next year. If they are able to do that, then we see that in 2025 summer, hindi na tayo ganito ka-problematic.
Okay, if you don't mind, Yusek Wina, can we talk a little about the red tape, the hassle that your potential partners are facing? Because in honesty, in all honesty, I have been approached by some of them who are complaining regarding the releases of contracts, regarding the permits, etc. Kung ano yung naging problema ng telcos 10 years ago, yun na naman ang problema ng mga RE developers in 2022 and 2023. What has the Department of Energy and the Office of the President done or will do about this? Kasi parang, sorry, no, pasensya ka na, ayoko namang magparatang ng wala sa lugar. But at the very least, this is a violation of the ARTA.
I'm very happy that you mentioned that. Ano? The President signed Executive Order 21. This is for offshore wind. Basically, the President said, have a one-stop shop such that our offshore wind developers will be able to deliver their promises at the right time. So, for example, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources does not have a policy for environment compliance and for environment impact assessment for offshore. But because of our collaboration with them and their cooperation, we were able to do that in just 1 month. So very soon they will come up with a policy. To us, that is a very good example of what is possible with collaboration among government agencies. Second, there's such a thing called Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop, or EVOS.
Okay.
This was a law that was passed years ago, but we're operationalizing it today, and we are shifting our permitting for DOE and other government agencies that have energy-related permits into this EVOS. This is the principle of the EVOS. If you submit something and it says in EVOS that it should be processed within 7 days, and that agency failed to process your application, then it is deemed approved.
Nako, Yusek, I'm so glad. Ladies and gentlemen, baka akala nyo nagsusumba si Yusek. Hindi po, no? Yusek Wina is mobile, but she has done us the courtesy of putting our virtual background. So parang siyang nagsusumba. Yusek, you can remove that background if you need to, but it's fine, no? I just needed to inform our viewers na you are so helpful in informing us na nagmumukha ka tuloy nagsusumba. But anyway, the thing deemed as approved.
Yes.
That's what got ARTA into trouble. They declared that, and these local officials and some other agencies, mga governors, went to the ombudsman to have the former ARTA Director General suspended, and eventually he left the job. Do you have coverage, protection? Kasi baka ganyan na naman kayo ng mga LGU at saka ng mga vested interests.
Cito, in any new process that we create in government, there should always be dialogue before we start. And that is the reason why our secretary is calling a meeting of various government agencies to make sure they all know we are all on the same page.
Yeah.
I think the problem before with ARTA was that, you come up with a law and then you did not talk to the people who will be affected. So at DOE, we are actually having conversations one-on-one with each of the permitting agencies that will be affected by this new executive order for offshore wind. So we are reasonable, by the way, because the number of days will be stated by that permitting agency, not by DOE.
So it is still the permitting agency or LGU who will declare, the number of days, but still, if they don't process it within those number of days, you're declaring it as approved and they can push on with the contract or with the project.
Yes, it is deemed approved by virtue of the law, not by the department, no? By virtue of the law.
Okay. So what happens now? You're talking only about offshore wind power generation projects, but not onshore.
Sito, kasi the other processes have already been perfected. Eh. They're
Okay.
already enrolled in the EVOS. The
Oh.
offshore wind permitting, not yet. So that's why we're working. It's the latest technology kasi. The other technologies have already been enrolled in the EVOS.
Okay, so like I know of one project, I was really supporting it. I was really saying hallelujah. The one in Laguna de Bay. There were several floating solar farm projects there. But when the election came in, a new president came in, from what I remember, and I haven't visited it, I gave up on it. Nasabi ko, bahala na, napolitika na yan. The awards were never released or were suspended, and 1 year later, I haven't heard anything from it. What's the most recent news about that?
You'll be happy to know, Sito, that it has been moving. That is the reason why the ECC and EIA for offshore is being released very soon by DENR. This is not just for offshore wind, but also for floating solar. And then, of
Okay.
course, the notice of award, we're just waiting for LLDA to issue that. We are in constant conversation with the service contractors for 2,000 megawatts in Laguna
Okay.
Lake.
Yes.
Yeah. So this has been moving. I don't know if you've seen the news yesterday that we did a ceremonial turnover of the contracts because as the Department of Environment and Natural Resources is moving forward.
Okay, so that's great news. Now, what else is out there that will reassure our viewers? Have you sat down with the power generators, with the distribution company like Meralco, to make sure na hindi naman masira lahat ng pagkain namin sa refrigerator o mabugok lahat yung itlog ko sa incubator?
Sito, matutuwa ka sa ating mga generators kasi about 2 months ago, we started asking the generators to either move forward or move backward the dates of their maintenance operation when they will shut down their plants. We requested that no generator will do their maintenance during summer months. And they all complied. And that is the reason why we went from 16 potential weeks with yellow alerts to only 12 potential weeks.
Okay.
Because of the cooperation of our generators. Ang medyo showstopper lang talaga natin is the delay in the completion of transmission line projects, 3 major projects of the NGCP. And these are the Mindanao-Visayas Interconnection Project, which should be finished in August. Dapat ng December pa yon. And then we also have the Cebu Negros Panay Project 3. And lastly, the San Jose Hermosa line in Bataan. So these are important transmission corridors because the ability to transfer power from Mindanao to Visayas is with the MVIP project. Imagine, Mindanao only consumes 2/3 of their supply. And the line from Mindanao to Visayas can afford 450 megawatts. And that's enough to help Visayas at night.
Okay.
And then there's also the connection from Visayas to Luzon. So pwedeng yung sobra, kasi 200 lang yung kailangan ng Visayas. So yung 450, 250 ka pa na pwede mong ibato all the way to Luzon. But the transmission lines are not yet completed.
Okay, last question, Undersecretary. Yusek, what about for residential? Because pasensya ka na, no? I'm really into studying renewable energy, at least for the residential applications. And I know that in Australia, because they promoted it, and even in the Netherlands, they promoted it so much that so many houses, roofs, had adopted solar technology to the point, because back then, 5-10 years ago, yung mga may solar, ipinapasa sa grid or binebenta sa power distributor yung excess nilang power. But now, the distributors no longer want to buy the power because there's an oversupply. Will we ever reach that situation where the DOE will actually promote residential, a program for households to have solar? Because that would, I believe, would be great in terms of energy conservation.
We have a beautiful policy for that. Um, it is called net metering.
Mm.
So houses can actually have solar panels on their rooftops and then produce energy, and excess can be uh, contributed to the grid. But the thing
Yeah.
is, when we reviewed the net metering policy, we realized that very few distribution utilities are implementing it. And then many of our countrymen do not know that there is such a policy. So one of
Mhm.
the things that we are working on is figuring out how we can popularize this. So we're in the process of revising the policy to make it easier to implement.
Okay. Well, we need to have coffee. Okay. Yusek Guevara, may pahabol na question po. How big or small are the chances for power interruptions in the following weeks? Ayan. Kasi yun talaga yung reason na napatawag kami sa'yo kasi people are really worried.
Sito, the chances are very high simply because we have potential yellow alerts for the entire month of May and the first 3 weeks of June. But this is how people can help. If you conserve energy, that brings down the demand and it increases our margin between supply and demand, and it will help us stay on the yellow alert and not go on red alert. So we ask households and offices, please put your air condition thermostat setting to 25 degrees Celsius, not 17, because that will lessen your consumption.
Yes, well, ako guilty, 23. Matanda na eh. Okay, Yusek Wina, please, agenda is open door policy for the DOE as long as we can get people like you to join us, to partner with us, because our only agenda here is the agenda of the public to inform them so that they can prepare, they can cooperate with all of us. I hope this will be a good start for agenda and DOE. Thank you very much and may God bless you, keep you safe in your journey, and sabihan mo yung driver mo, huwag masyadong malubak para hindi ka nagmumukha nagsusumba.
Thank you very much, Cito. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. That's Yusek Rowena Guevara of the Department of Energy. And now we will go for a quick break. When we return, we'll go to a good friend of mine, and we're going to talk about personal finances. We're going to talk about the second half of the year. How can you catch up? What can you do? Because I know there are friends out there who are worried with the economy slowing down, things getting rough. What should we be doing? We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program, your agenda, and I'm your host, Cito Beltran. Maraming salamat po. Lalo na doon nagsasabing ako ay suplado, okay? Dahil hindi ko kayo binabati, hindi ko kayo kaya kinakamusta. Nasa TV ako, kayo nasa sala. Okay, but thank you very much for joining us. And with us is a good friend, Gabriel. Roll out the Betamax.
Randell Tiongson is the director of the Registered Financial Planner Institute, Philippines. With nearly 30 years of experience in the financial service industry, Tiongson has become a well-known finance coach in the country.
Good morning, my friend Randall, and a belated happy birthday.
In-announce pa yun. Thank you. Good morning, Cito.
Kala mo nakalimutan ko, sinadya ko. Actually, na-delay lang yung invitation sa'yo. Sabi ko, tatiming ko ito. Ayan, happy birthday
Morning.
ka on national TV. Anyway, good morning, Randall, and I'm sure you heard my intro a while ago. The economy, whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, it's going down. Economy, the growth has slowed down. Sabi nga ng mga magmamanok, mga mag-iitlog, kung yung itlog na 4 pesos na walang pa ng 20% of buyers or market, ano pa kaya yung iba? So clearly, people are worried, and there are people who have been asking me, what can we do, especially those who are salaried or who are living on savings, retirees, etc. What are you seeing out there? What should people know, and what should people do?
Okay. Siguro more than the slowing down of the economy, no? Kasi natural naman yan, no? Because we grew faster. So eventually, yung base mo lalaki. I think the bigger issue now is the inflation pa din eh. Yes, it slowed down, pero kasi ang laki na ng base. So, di ba? I mean, bumagal man yung inflation, pero ang laki na. So, I mean, you don't expect prices to go down. So, I think it's a bigger challenge for a lot of people right now. So, medyo we are living in challenging times kasi bumabagal na economy, pero inflation, mataas pa din. Nakatawa kasi ngayon, no, bumabala ng 6 something, 5 something, mataas na, which is still on the high side kasi yung base mo mataas pa din. So, yun yung mga challenges na nadadaanan natin. And of course, syempre, nararamdaman natin yun as consumers, nararamdaman natin yun as people who are working or in businesses. It becomes more challenging, no? The slowing down of the economy means siguro lesser opportunities for us to make money. So that's one. And the higher cost of doing business and the higher cost of living, parang double whammy para sa atin yan. And syempre, mararamdaman yan ng mga taong ginagamit ang pera. Diba? Yung mga taong nagnenegosyo, taong nag-iipon, it becomes even more challenging. Yan yung the situation right now. So, what can we do, 'di ba? As citizens, as common tao, 'di ba? Number one, we can't control the economy, we can't control the policy, we can't make anything, 'di ba? But sa atin siguro, we can do yung sinasabi ko, meron tayong offensive and defensive approach when it comes to this one.
Okay.
So, syempre, offensive, and tama-tama na lang, sinabi ni Yusek, no? Kasi ang init naman talaga, no? Maybe we can be more defensive in the way we consume, let's say, the more basic things, electricity. Medyo ako din guilty, no? Baka hindi naman kailangan nasa 21 degrees, 22 degrees. Baka naman magtiis-tiis tayo at 24 or 25. That will help. And that's also going to reduce your cost of electricity. So may mga ganun bagay, no? Some of them as simple. I always been telling my kids, yung sinabi sa akin ng magulang ko dati, ano ba naman magpatay ng ilaw bago lumabas ng kwarto? Magpatay ng electric fan, di mo? The funny part is we repeat those things, ano? Later on, no? So yung mga ganun bagay, no? We can have a more defensive side. On the other one,
Well, but Randall, sorry bro, I just needed to ask. Okay, saving on electricity, cutting down on electricity consumption is quite noticeable. Second is gasoline or diesel, yung biyahe. But what other areas? Pasensya na, no? I'm making it elementary or very basic. Pero sometimes it's the obvious that we overlook.
alam mo, sa totoo lang ha, and siguro lahat naman tayo guilty, marami sa atin may wastage talaga tayo. Sa pagkain na lang may wastage tayo, di ba? We over-prepare, we overcook. sometimes yung mga ganun bagay, so may wastage tayo. Tingnan mo na lang, and for many household, tingnan mo lang yung ref mo, no? Meron mga uneaten food doon, may mga bagay. So again, medyo may konting adjustment tayo na kailangan natin gawin. Anyway, wala ka naman choice, mataas ang grocery bills mo, palengke bills mo, so might as well reduce, no? So that's very important. Something that's basic, or even, yun mo yun, yung kain sa labas. I mean, yes, we want to celebrate. Mainit, masarap kumain sa labas, naka-aircon. I get it, di ba? Although, syempre, exception sa Sunday, Mother's Day, di ba? Baka mapagalitan na naman tayo niyan.
No. Bali mapagalitan. Baka masapok pa tayong dalawa.
So, yung mga ganun bagay. So, siguro selective din tayo, no? We want to be able to do that. I get it, di ba? I mean, syempre, di ba?
So going out to restaurants, cut down. Cut down on eating out, or if you must eat out, walang hiya-hiya. Ako, tinitake home ko talaga lahat ng matira. Sabi ko, amin na yung sobrang kanin, amin na yung sobrang ulam. Kasi hindi na ako magluluto. If I go home, I don't have to consume LPG.
Yeah.
I don't have to waste my time cooking, etc. I'll just eat tirayaki.
Yan. So, tsaka yung alam mo minsan, di ba, kunyari like ako kasi since I still bring out my kids, may ngayon grandkids na rin. Parang wag mag-order na excessive. Kasi 'di ba mayroong gano'ng tendency, 'di ba? Parang dami na naman natin in-order, naman natin kaya i-consume yan. So, ayan, medyo defensive yung approach na yan. Ano? So, those are the things that we need to understand. Ito lang, something as simple lang. Yung paglalaba, 'di ba? Kasi marami naman naka-washing machine sa atin eh. Merong optimal loading 'yan eh, 'di ba? Minsan hindi optimal yung loading. So again, yung mga ganoong bagay, you have to siguro we can cut down a little bit on that. So makikita mo 'yan. Ito very simple to, Cito, no. Napansin ko maraming household sobra gumamit ng sabon. Kasi 'di ba, pupunuin nila yung lalagyan. Pero pag tiningnan mo yung manufacturer requirement, siguro baka we are 2 to 3 times overloading the soap. I mean, syempre, yun. Mga ganun bagay, I mean, they all add up. So,
no, even in construction. I was just talking with si Rola Vismonte the other day, and Randell Vismonte. They're builders and she's an architect. And we all agreed na, architects in the Philippines and builders need to understand that they're overbuilding. So, they're 1 or 2 beams too many.
Yeah.
1 or 2 doors too many, etc. So whether it's in design, construction, consumption, marami. Now, so defensive, meaning control your consumption, reduce your wastage, watch yung budget. Okay.
yan. So,
Yung budget. How does one use budget not in a bad or painful way? Kasi alam mo, I really want to stick to budget, but I know people na, pare naman, I didn't work so hard just to deny myself. Parang ganon.
yan. Ito naman advantage ng budget. The budget allows you your limits. Parang alam mo yon, kasi kunyari gusto mo ma-enjoy yung pera mo, edi lawakan mo yung budget mo, pero stick within budget. Kasi budget is a relative thing eh. What is your budget may be bigger than somebody else's budget. Pero at the same time, alam natin yung limits natin. Budgeting allows you, prevents you from overspending. Diba? Kasi kunyari, ang budget mo kumain sa labas, 2,000, isa 5,000, okay yun, iba yun. Pero at least alam niya yung limit niya. So the budget puts the limits where you can so that you don't go excessive. Alam mo yung budget, so sobrang importante to, no? Like sa amin, ang pinakamalaki application sa amin ito when we do travel, when we go on vacations. Kasi, di ba, ang tendency natin, nag-vacation, nag-go all out tayo. But that budget allows us to say, hindi, hanggang dito lang. My wife would always tell me, ito yung budget natin, Randell, So, ibig sabihin, parang excessive ka na sa eating out, di ba? So, yun. Kasi, magagalit siya eh. Kasi pag sumobra eating out, mababawasan shopping time, no? So, binabalanse.
You are asking for trouble, Mr. Tiongson.
Sa Mother's Day naman, so pwede. They can go shop as much as they can. Pero ganun bagay. So, it's a workable situation. Alam mo, a lot of people don't like to do budgeting kasi cumbersome or ayaw na kasi lalo ng Pilipino, ayaw nila feeling na pinipigilan sila. No? We have this tendency na, pipigilan mo, kaya ako nagkatrabaho, nag-enjoy ako. Pero what's the result? Overspending, wala nang ipon, or nakakautang na.
So, the budget is not necessarily a choker or to deny you your joy or your reward, but if you want to prioritize your reward, okay lang, but you have to cut back on other areas to compensate. Hindi yung bahala na si Batman.
Kasi na-forecast mo yung budgets mo eh. Like, lalo na ngayon, di ba, with the faster pace of rising prices. Kasi, di ba, inflation is a tricky thing. Na kahit na bumagal yan, yung price mo hindi nagagalaw. Diba? Yun yung thing eh. So, bumawal naman inflation, hindi na tayo nasa 8%. Let's say, nasa 6 na tayo, nasa 5 na tayo. Pero yung base mo malaki na. Yung binabayaran mong 200 pesos, hindi na bababa to 150 yan. So, ibig sabihin, that's the challenge now. So, paano natin gagawin yung budget natin that, one, realistic. Siyempre, kasi marami naman budgets. Alam mo, Cito, kaya marami tayo mag-budget. Kasi maraming budgets unrealistic. Diba? Parang, ito lang gagastusin natin, pero sabi ko, teka, adjust nyo naman yan. Kasi di naman ganun ka-realistic yan. Hindi, ito lang idealistic.
Okay, where are the unrealistic categories or guardrails? Kasi, correct ka eh. Parang diet. I will lose 20 pounds. Or I will lose 30 pounds. Sige. Pag na-cremate ka na namin, you will lose 30 pounds. Okay. Pero saan nagkakamali? Where do people make mistakes when they do these budgets? Where are the weak points?
Number one sa food items, sa food cost, sa mga grocery. Kasi para ang dali i-pinpoint na ito. Pero minsan di ka like guilty sa mga tatay. Hindi naman kayo namimili, di mo naman alam yung cost ng pamimili. So sometimes ina-adjust mo, kala mo ganun lang. Di, dapat 10,000 lang tayo a month. Pero teka, namili ka na ba? Lumabas ka na ba? Nakita mo ba? So, may ganun bagay. Sometimes as simple, even transportation, di ba? Kasi, andali kumpitin, let's say sa Excel o sa papel, pero kailangan, yung base mo rin, yung kung saan mo kinukuha, pinagbabasihan mo, medyo realistic pa din.
You should be aware or bago ka gumawa ng budget, gumawa ka muna ng actual study of prices and expenses. Wag yung dikta ka ng dikta, hindi mo pa alam. No, because a classic example, I buy oatmeal, okay, for daily use, and pag bumibili ako, dati, ang bili ko mga 90-something lang about 3 months ago. Tapos naging 110, naging 114, ngayon 125 na per kilo. I mean, imagine in a matter of 2 months, it went up by more than 20 pesos. Medyo, wow. And then I studied, I checked, kasi imported. So, ayun. So, people need to understand their budget based on real prices and current prices. Kasi, pinag-aralan mo nga, pero last December pala yung presyo mo, masusunog ka this year.
Cito, yun ang challenge sa atin ngayon because ang bilis bumago ng price. Nagugulat ako eh. Kasi bibili ako ng grocery. Pagbalik mo, laki, parang last month lang yun ha. Because of this, the reality of the inflation. And yes, bumabagal inflation, pero the prices will take a while for it to reflect. So again, dapat aware ka lang. Awareness lang naman. Kasi pag na-aware ka na, ano ba kailangan ko i-cut down? Ano na alternative? Let's say oatmeal. Meron bang alternative sa oatmeal na mas mura? Yun, titingnan mo na. So, the awareness is very important and the realization. Now, for couples na, kasi dapat talaga ang couple, nag-agree, nag-uusap about budget. Kasi minsan ang tendency ng Filipino family, si Mrs. lang magkasabi, si Mr. lang magkasabi, pero dapat to may dialogue to. Dapat nag-uusap kayo. You have to, there's oneness, kasi conjugal yan eh. So the agreement has to be there. Otherwise, gulo yan, awa yan. And kadalasan yan, kasi ayaw natin ng conflict, hindi na nasusunod yung budget. Sige,
or hindi na mag-uusap.
Okay, di na nag-uusap.
Diba? Okay. You want sex? You want sex? It's going to cost you.
Yeah.
Ganun eh, no? Anyway.
Inflation adjusted.
Inflation adjusted, eh, no? Okay, now, before we run out of time, because we only have 5 minutes left, Randall, some people have said, well, bro, you're just gonna have to work harder. You're gonna have to hold 2 jobs, 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Parang, sabi ko, kawawa naman kaming mga senior citizen. Magsa-side hustle kami. Hindi po kami 30 years old. Okay?
Meron pa rin may value pa rin naman yan kasi yun yung offensive side naman. Kasi di ba, minsan naman talaga, kunyari may extra time ka pa, di ba? Somebody in your family member, si Mrs. pwede, dito na papasok yung, very millennial and Gen Z perspective, yung side hustles. Di ba? Ano pwede mo pang gawin? Kasi pwede naman eh. Like, syempre, nung nag-birthday ako, I got this cake, no? I got this cake. Tapos, binasa ko, parang, ano ba to, lawyer? Ba't ka to yung cake nila? And then I found out later on, she reached out to me in Facebook. She's actually a practicing lawyer. Medyo USEC pa nga ata eh. Then she has this healthy baking stuff na apparently sikat. So, ibig sabihin, somebody who's so busy can still do other things. Like, even ako, meron akong side hustles. Kasi, diba, that's the reality of, I mean, I can only
Excuse
expand the
me,
income ko.
anong side hustle? Napakasikat mo na, ang dami mo ng
Pero
racket.
hindi, yun ang point ngayon. Actually, nakakatawa nga, no? Kasi minsan, kunyari, popost ko, I serve food and stuff. Sabi niya, tingin mo to si, di ba, kumikita na ng malaki, so mas side hustle pa. Again, there's the beauty of that eh. Kasi innate naman sa atin, entrepreneurial tayo eh. So, ano pa pwede mong gawin to generate a little bit of income? So, dito na papasok. Kasi ito yung advantage nung naka-prepare. Multiple sources of income yan eh. So, diba? Kasi ang hirap i-control isang source lang ng income eh. So, kung meron kang multiple, 1, 2, 3, then later on, you learn that facility, at makita mo, you're insulated against mga issues.
You're a financial planner. Alam mo kasi, that's why I love talking to you also because you don't put in all of those preconditions that economists put in. Yung mga, well, if you do not have the numbers, if you do not have the volume, if you cannot get ROIs in the multiples of 2, 3, etc., then it's not worth it. Parang sabi ko, yung mga lolo at lola nakapagpaaral sa mga inyo sa college, 2 baboy lang ang pinapalaki. Yung iba nagbebenta. Ito, ang dami yung sinasabing mga ROI kayo dyan.
Kasi,
what's your philosophy on that, Randell?
Yung mga ekonomista rin, hindi naman negosyante yung mga yan, di ba? Sabi sa akin lang, importante lang, ha? As long as the revenue I generate is decent, it's real, it's legal, that's great. Kahit na maliit na amount na yan eh. For instance, share ko lang, nung 2020 to 20, hanggang ngayon, I discovered that people can actually order my food. Diba? Papadeliver ko. Di una, okay lang yan. Sabi, Randell, wala ka na oras, magbe-bake ka pa, magluluto ka pa ng salmon and everything. But I realized, it's a missed opportunity. Diba? I love cooking. Might as well make money out of it. And you can monetize certain things that you're doing na akala mo, hindi ka kikita, pero pwede. Just recently, I've been opening up cafes kasi I love coffee eh. Now, I came to a point na start muna ako maliit and then eventually, I'll be maybe opening my third cafe soon. So parang
Third cafe. Bakit yan ang pinasok mo? 60% mortality ang mga cafes and restaurants.
Okay, kasi I love coffee and I learn how to find a model that works for me. Yan yung perspective ko eh, di ba? And then papasok yan. Siyempre, hindi naman ako pasok na ayoko naman magsunog ng pera. But alam mo yun, being a business person also, nakita mo, okay, mataas ang mortality ito. What can I do to make it workable? Diba? And then, nakita mo, dito na napapractice yung, okay, the business model na ginagawa na iba, all out kagad, laki kagad ng expenses, how do I maintain? So, ito na papasok pagka-financial planner ko. First ko titingnan, paano ako makaka-recover? Paano ako ma-minimize ang losses? So, that allowed me to do other things. Pero, it slowly got into that. Kasi in 2020, 2021, I got into food orders, take orders, parang, got my foot into...
But aren't you departing from what, I mean, modesty aside, we were together when you started, and I remember the days when we even had meetings with other guys like us who were talking about a brain, parang a conglomerate, ano matawag nun, samahan ng mga idea people. But aren't you digressing from financial planning, from
I'm still, in essence, I'm still a finance person.
Okay.
70-80% of my revenue is still coming from that.
Okay.
But the point is, the pie is bigger now eh. I can now, a little bit here, a little bit of that. Anyway, hindi naman ako everyday, di ba, nakatutok sa being financial planner, di ba?
Oh,
may mga days naman na mga stuff. And I learned how to, build scale. Like
but is the cafe, the coffee, and the food thing, is that more as a stress reliever? Or, kasi your children are grown up already, except maybe for one boy, but everyone else is an adult and a professional. One would think now, and I think this is the general thinking, Randell, that, hey, we've raised the kids, let's just step back and let's just slowly go into the sunset.
Yeah. Ako, Cito, kasi I like to do things. I I can easily be bored. That's the problem eh. And ito yung perspective ko. Pag bored ka, magastos yun. So, when you're busy, di ba? So, you can either choose to spend money or to make money. I choose to make money kasi, di ba? Well, you know, actually, mali na nga yung intro. No? I've been in the industry for more than 30 years. Sandali na lang, meron na rin ako discount card, di ba? 2 na apo ko, magiging 3 na. But that doesn't prevent me from enjoying other things. Like, okay, I started the food as more like, because it's a pandemic thing. Lockdown, ano gagawin natin? I mean, sorry to say, naumay na ako ka-Zoom eh, di ba? Maka-4 na Zoom ka sa araw, di ba? Teka, pwede naman ako gumawa ng ibang bagay. Anyway, nahilig ako magluto. So, then eventually, na-develop ko din yung model. Alam mo, after a few months of doing it, I realized, hey, this is real money. It's not, hindi to joke. Di ba? It can allow me to do other things. So,
Okay, so we're down to a minute and a half. So the things you've said, budgets help. Have a defensive plan, have an offensive plan. Any kind of side hustle, as long as it is a decent revenue, it makes money or it's an income, not a loss, and it's not illegal and fine by you. And you are now diversifying, if we can call it that, or maybe you're just doing something that you find fun. Last point.
again, syempre, at the end of the day, you have to be prayerful. You know, this time, like I always tell people, kasi ang tendency natin, we have a tendency to control everything. And sometimes it's beyond your control. Then this is where it's important for you to realize there's a greater power that you know, that allows you to enjoy life and stuff like this. So again, be faithful ka lang in everything that you do, in the little things, in finance, in working, in budgeting. Just be faithful and ultimately acknowledge that God is in control. Kasi that's so relieving. If with inflation, diba, a lot of people tell me, Randell, God is in control, eh, di ba? Okay. I mean, I went through life experiencing double-digit inflation. If people are closer to our age, Cito, a lot of people don't know that we experienced 20, 30, 40% inflation way back. No? So, if we survive that, we can survive this also.
Okay, well, Randell, thank you very much. It was fun, and I will call on you not on your next birthday, but more regularly for the rest of the year. Thank you very much, Randell. God bless.
Bye, guys.
Okay, and that's our friend Randell Tiongson. Very good lessons that he shared with us. And now let's go to our closing blessing for this week. And it is from the book of Psalms, chapter 20, verse 4. And my prayer for all of you, may God give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. I do hope you have a great weekend. Please rest, take time out, do some fun things, but more than anything, make sure you have a Sabbath, a time with the Lord. God bless all of you. Please include us in your prayer. Thank you. Keep it here on One News.